Hey, this is the Prophet with Nick.
What's going on? Money Morning Live. And what's going on in the crypto market? What's going on in the NFT space? Nick Black is going to take us through all of that today as we get into an hour of Alternative Wealth Daily. Bring in Nick in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Pew, 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 pew. Pew. That was the pregnant pew. You know how you have a pregnant pause? That was the pregnant pew.
I heard it. It was great. You're not giving those up, are you, Nick?
Let's see one of your pregnant pews. Do you have a pregnant pew?
I don't. You know I got the cannons, man.
Oh, God.
I know. Never ending.
Okay. Welcome to Alternative Wealth Daily Live. AWDL, bros, Cevises. We have a full show for you today. We are talking, we're going to go through some kind of headlines, some financially stuff. We may even remark a little bit about Charlie Munger. What is he, like 940? Anyway, I love Charlie Munger for a lot of reasons. I also think he kind of missed the boat. Like when he and Warren Buffett were like, we don't believe in technology. So no internet for them. And yet here they are now, many decades later, saying that crypto is a scam, Bitcoin's a scam. I think Charlie said, well, first Warren said that Bitcoin was rat poison squared, although it outperformed everything he's ever invested in the history of ever. So no big deal. I get it, Warren. We don't get them all right. And then let's see, Charlie was like, it's a scam. People want money too quick. Well, that part's true. See, the thing is, these guys are not completely wrong. They're a little bit too maybe obtuse about their vision of technology. They've never been fans of internet or web anything, web 1, web 2, web anything. They're just not fans of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, and by the way, Kevin O'Leary wasn't wrong about Tesla. Tesla's a subsidized company that cannot exist without taxpayer money and government subsidy. It cannot exist. It's a fake company without that. But I mean, I guess if you got the government, and then Elon has the gall to blame the SEC for trying to step on his free speech. You gave that up, bro. When you take public money and subsidy money, you give all that up. Eric, if we start a corporation, Eric and Nick Corp.
Okay.
The minute we take public money, we lose the right to just covfefe our way onto Twitter.
I guess we
don't get to get high. When's the last time you got high and tweeted?
Oh, I don't get high, Nick. So I tweet all the time, ridiculous stuff, but I'm not high. It's not my excuse. It's usually being tired.
Well, we can't covfefe. Once you take public money, no more covfefe. You lose the right when the government subsidizes your existence, and when the public subsidizes your existence, you lose the right to get baked and go tell people 420, bro, Tesla's going to the moon, or say, I'm going to leave Tesla. I think I'm out. Come on, man. Like these people, these paper tigers, I like Elon for a lot of things, but all of these people, you have to separate out the good and the bad. I think that's probably with everybody, but especially talking heads. So the Elons and the Charlie Mungers and all of these, you know, the Warren Buffetts, sometimes these guys are wrong and right at the same time and disingenuous. Why Charlie and Warren are a bit disingenuous is they have like $1 billion investment in, I think, it is a bank in Brazil, but it's a South American bank that has direct fintech exposure. Like they are the big bank for crypto investors in South America. So on the one hand, crypto is a scam, please stay away. And on the other hand, while you guys stay away, we've got $1 billion pointed at it. I don't know. That seems a little uncomfortable for me. But anyway, you take the good and the bad and you get, so we're going to talk a little bit about that kind of mentality as it applies to the keep your coins kind of mentality. There's an act that could reduce government control over crypto. I think we should probably talk about that. What do you think, Eric? You think we should go into it?
Yeah, I think we should. Why don't we start right here with the Congressman Warren Davidson a little quote from him. Said he's been working on that since 2016. Unbelievable that Congress won't unite to end the unjust, immoral, unconstitutional practice of civil asset forfeiture. You believe, you agree.
I agree that it's good that we're having these conversations. That's what I agree. So Canada's Emergencies Act targets crypto. And so let me back up. So legislation has been introduced in the House of Representatives with the intention of keeping government agency control away from self-custodial crypto wallets. And it's kind of more of this thought, like at some point our money and stuff should be, like our money and stuff. I mean, I didn't sell my crypto wallets to the public. So I feel like some stuff we should be able to keep as our own. We shouldn't just have to offer everything up. That's kind of part of this. So the Keep Your Coins bill was introduced in the House of Representatives by Congressman Warren Davidson of Ohio to protect crypto owners' rights to act as self-custodian and conduct peer-to-peer transactions. So Eric to me to Eric, Eric to Alice, Alice to Bob, Bob to, I don't know, C, Charlie, Claire, whoever, right? We should be able to do that. At a certain point, our money is kind of our money, or is it? That's kind of what we're trying to contend with. So if the House approves the bill, it will put a stop to agency heads from interfering in the use of digital currencies or assets. Would basically allow us to, send currency units to each other without someone going, I don't know, Eric. I don't know if we're going to allow that one. We'll allow the other one, but that one's we're going to have to push pause on that. Like, come on, bro. Anyway, the act will allow users to conduct digital currency transactions through a self-hosted wallet without restrictions or oversight. I feel like, and this is just my opinion, let us know, please, in the chat. Your currency units, your value stuff, it's yours. You can do what you want with it. If you break the law, if I break the law, cool. Come after me for the laws that I broke. Don't try to make me moving my currency units around somehow unjust or illegal. It's like, at what point is our stuff our stuff? So anyway, the bill was proposed Tuesday, just after the Emergencies Act was invoked in Canada. You got a bunch of angry truckers, and we won't go into all that. To put an end to the fundraising efforts of the Freedom Convoy participants who've been protesting COVID-19 related mandates, the finance minister stated the actions would also include cryptocurrencies, along with payment service providers and crowdfunding platforms used by the protesters. So again, they're trying to step on the money, step on the currency. If you have a problem with protesters, well, that's a whole bag of amendment type, foundational belief type problems, right? Like, do you allow people to have free speech and all this kind of stuff? But you don't. But again, stepping on the payment rails seems pretty stupid. It's easy if you're the government, but at some point this backfires. And this is the constant problem that governments are grappling with, is the idea that in decentralized scenarios, they don't have any control over it. It's like banning sunsets. Remember the other day we talked about the Cobra ban and how that backfired, and we kind of look at game theory quite often, payoffs and incentives. Well, you can't ban crypto. You can make it illegal, but you can't actually stop it from happening. So I think the U.S., many of the senators and congressmen in the U.S. are actually kind of wise to this, and they're also thinking, hey, look, I've been insider trading for years and years. I'm a congressman. I'm a senator, right? But what happens if things change and I can no longer trade and people come after my money? I don't want to give it back. So they're not doing it because they want to hook up the American. They're not doing it for the future wealth and prosperity of the American taxpayer. They're doing it because they want to keep their ill-gotten gains. My guess is Nancy Pelosi probably gets on board with this. Anyway, so this is kind of interesting how this is all turning out. Like, this protest in Canada and everything has caused countries all over the world and financial institutions all over the world to really take a look and see. Another reason, I mean, people are coming out openly against El Salvador. They were putting forth some kind of proposal, a few senators yesterday, a proposal that said we need to really look at what kind of financial instability could be caused because Bitcoin is legal tender in El Salvador. And Bukele came right out and said, "You old boomers, stay off my, stay out of my yard." He said he tweeted that El Salvador is not the backyard or front yard of the United States. Stay in your lane. So stay in your lane. Davidson refuted the connections with the events in Canada and said this has nothing to do with that. So basically he's saying, hey, look, we're not being influenced by that, but they clearly are. Stated the bill has been in the works for almost 6 years. Maybe. So Democrats are taking a more stern stance on regulating cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. The proposed bill might not get sufficient support it needs to pass legislation, but that's how these things are, right? They move up, they get beat up, they move up, but it spreads the message. Part of putting these bills forward is it's going to get crushed, but you're catering to your caucus, you're catering to potential voters, and you might start seeing a shift in the sentiment of your voters. People are waking up that crypto makes sense. It's not a bad idea. This is a way of politicking. This is a way of campaigning. Eric, if you were going to campaign for Senate, what would be your platform?
Oh, I don't know, Nick. I'm not into politics.
Okay, but if they were like, Eric, listen, you got to run for Senate. What's your thing? What's your thing going to be? What's Eric's thing?
Oh, that's literally almost impossible. It may actually be impossible for me to answer, Nick.
You don't have a thing?
I mean, my thing has nothing to do with politics, literally in any way.
Okay, what's your thing? Planting, gardening for everyone?
My thing is virtual stuff, man. I'm all into this virtual video, audio stuff.
Virtual stuff for everyone act?
Sure. Yes, the virtual stuff for everyone act sounds great. Everyone should have a virtual presence.
Is everyone here behind the Virtual Presence Act, VPA? We call it the Virtual Presence Act.
Look at how we're building this together right now. This is great. Maybe I actually have a shot.
I think you're going to get elected to something.
This would be cool. I mean,
it might be an indictment, but you're going to get elected to something.
Hopefully not that, but I mean, we got the chat. I mean, this could totally be a thing. I could have a run at something.
I think you're going to make it. I think you're going to do just fine.
Thanks, Nick.
In an interview conducted by Bitcoin Magazine, well, at least Bitcoin Magazine is probably fair and balanced too, right? Like the other side of Fox. Davidson has elaborated on the urgent need for the KYC Act. He claimed that the proposal was framed to prevent government attempts to restrict self-custody over digital assets and wallets. Talking about the bill, he claimed it takes FinCEN language that's been out there for a while now, and it provides the framework for KYC, know your client, that protects self-custody. Cool. I think all of this is good. All of this is important. Sometimes it takes these weird events and, well, not always weird, right? If you're in the caravan and you're protesting in Canada and you're like, I don't want to wear a mask and I'm not going to take a shot and all this kind of stuff. Like, I mean, I guess I see what the argument is. I'm not so sure why people aren't protesting the other 45 vaccinations that we get. But this is the one where they're like, no more, man, you're stepping on my freedom. But like the other ones are okay because we don't want to cough our lungs up. So I guess I don't know where I stand on that. I think everyone has the right to do or not do. But bro, if I got my shot and it's me or you to get a ventilator, you can wait in line. I will get my ventilator. Thank you very much. All right.
Brutal.
So concerning the freedom I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Do you think people should be able to choose? Let's take the money thing, Eric. Your idea is, do you think you should let people do what they want with their currency? Or do you say, well, I need to know what everyone's doing with their money all the time to prevent them from doing dirty, illicit things?
No, I like option A. And I mean, that's part of why we're into the crypto space anyway, right? Like we can kind of manage our own stuff there. And I like that. Option A. Final answer.
So you're saying that we're allowed to be treated as adults? Is that what you're saying?
I think so. I mean, people are going to make mistakes, but then you deal with it afterward. I believe that's what you were saying earlier. Someone makes a mistake, they can get punished afterward.
Maybe your campaign is actually the adults are actually adults act. Like that's your platform. The adults are adults. A.
Ooh, and if we combine both of them, I think I have a sure win between adults acting as adults and the virtual platforms. This is awesome. Adults
acting as adults, the quad A, adults acting as adults act 5 A's, bro.
5.
You know what you just scored? An A
An
plus.
A. Yes. Yes. Hey, Nick,
Scored an A.
do you want to get into our next article?
I guess we will.
Yes, we will. We're going to get into this one right here. It's about another NFT marketplace. X2Y2 begins vampire attack on OpenC. OpenC, remember, is the primary, the main, the big dog right now in NFT sales. So I know that you've messed around in this platform a little bit. What are your thoughts? What are they doing that's different that's going to make someone like me want to use that instead of OpenC or LooksRare?
Well, here's the thing. These all seem kind of the same. Now, this isn't an organization that anybody knows much about. Right. It's if you played around on OpenC, you know the fees suck and OpenC breaks all the time. And if you played around on LooksRare, you know that it's awesome, but it doesn't quite have all of the functionality yet. They're adding functionality day by day by day. So that's great, but LooksRare isn't there yet. But it's getting there. And the Looks token is, whether the price or not you like it, the rewards you get are still incredible. So I'm very bullish that, and I think they have the right team to continue to meaningfully compete with OpenC. Well, after LooksRare did their little attack, their little vampire attack against OpenC by basically saying, hey, listen, if you did some OpenC transactions over 3 Ethereum over a period of months on OpenC, we're going to give you some free tokens, which you can stake or you can sell them or whatever. So X2Y2 is doing the same thing, only they do have one thing different that I really like. It's basically they completely copied what LooksRare did. 100%, nothing different. Even their emission schedule on their token is very, very similar. But one thing they did that was interesting is if you take an NFT that is listed on OpenC and you list it on X2Y2 for slightly less. I mean, if it was listed at 4 ETH and you listed at 3.99999, that is technically less. So if you list NFTs that are currently on OpenC for less on X2Y2, they will pay you staking rewards essentially in their token. And again, it's a funny money token that they're printing out of thin air, but they will pay you for listing on their platform. So in this way, this is one thing that LooksRare didn't do. LooksRare is not paying you to list assets. They're thinking you'll come over and list assets because you'll get rewarded in the fees that you not only save, but the fees that are repatriated in the form of tokens. So why would you sell a Bored Ape or a Doodle or any of these kind of expensive, the punks or whatever? Why would you sell a $400,000 to a $1 million item and just willy-nilly give 2.5% away? Just light it on fire. Why wouldn't you, like on $1 million, that's $25,000 you'd be lighting on fire. I don't know about you, but if I was in the street and I was walking and there was $25,000 in a bag on the ground, I would probably pick it up. So by selling on OpenC versus LooksRare, you're lighting money on fire. And so so X2Y2 is doing kind of the same thing, only they're incentivizing the simple listing of assets. Like, you list the asset, we'll give you the coin. Sure, it's the same thing. The first 30 days, they're going to shower you with funny money tokens. So if you're going to stake the token, you would stake it for probably 28 days of the 30 days and see what it looks like. Will this perform as well? I don't know. I mean, I banged around on it yesterday. It's kind of clunky. They haven't figured out their airdrop. They haven't worked out the staking, even though they say they have. Nothing's actually working. I don't know if this version of a vampire attack works. It's a cool idea. Of course, it's something that LooksRare could just add as functionality. LooksRare could say, okay, going forward, if you list your stuff here for cheaper than anywhere else, we will compensate you. It's a race to zero with these kind of little incentives, because someone will also say, okay, lower than them, we'll give you this. And then they go lower than them. But at the end of the day, you say, well, which platform do I want to use? And also, where do the most benefits come from the token? Would I buy this token right now? No. There's no liquidity. They're doing no volume, like none. But to be fair, they just launched like 2 days ago. So we'll give them a little bit of time. How do you stake? And real quick, just for those of you that were curious about staking the Looks token, Eric, if we can just jump on the page really quick. Let me show them kind of what it looks like. So if you have Looks tokens in your Metamask wallet, it's actually very simple. you connect your wallet with this. There's a little button up here. You'll connect your wallet up on the top right of the screen. Once the wallet is connected, see my little monkey guy, my little Bored Ape? Okay, once it's connected, you scroll down to the first box. That box has a record of what's in your wallet. So it'll say how many looks are in the wallet. That's assuming you have looks. How would you get them? Well, you would just swap into them with an Ethereum-based asset in MetaMask. You could just do a swap. Okay. And by the way, we have a lot of guides and assistance tools that are actually built for our money map audience. So if you guys go, we're building a lot of more behind the scenes stuff, but the team has a bunch of guides. The Alternative Wealth team has created guides. So everybody just know that we're not leaving you high and dry. So you have this little box. It will tell you what's in your wallet. It'll say looks in wallet. Where here it says stake. You just go, you click max. Now, I don't have any in there because I have them all staked. You have to have at least one looks token, and there's going to be Ethereum fee associated with this. So remember, it's going to cost you 30 or 40 bucks to do this. So make sure that you have at least, several hundred looks tokens, or this would not be worth it because of the Ethereum fees, bigger chunks. So you would click max, get rid of all these decimal points to where it's just a whole number. So let's say it's 543 tokens. Once that's there, you click stake. You will sign a transaction in your MetaMask wallet. A little drop down will come and say, hey, do you choose to do this? Make sure when you're doing any transactions that require you to sign anything in MetaMask, read it. Read what it's doing so that you didn't accidentally click something stupid. And if you think something doesn't feel right, undo it. Stop. Don't sign the transaction. Reject the transaction and back out. Go to YouTube University or go check out our Alternative Wealth Daily Live, the back end where we're creating all these kind of guides and stuff. Find the information. You don't need to rush. There's nothing in crypto you need to rush into. We will not recommend you a token that you have to act on this second. Okay? So if you feel like you're doing something wrong, slow down. Slow down.
Yeah, I also want to say I've staked in multiple places, and Looks Rare I'm also staked in, and it was absolutely the easiest one by far of all. I mean, it's really literally just a click of a few buttons. The gas fees though, but you're paying gas no matter what you do, essentially. So
you're paying gas no matter what you do. You can also look up the gas fees in Ethereum and see when it's kind of a little bit more quiet and when it's a little bit more expensive. Tends to be in the mornings. I mean, around this time, gas fees are typically kind of low. I know Ethereum gas right now is very low because I have a widget. The base fee is 62.5 GUI. What does that mean for you guys? Well, just means that it's probably cheaper than it would normally be.
What does that mean, Nick? I have the same thing, the same little widget, which is awesome. I know the smaller the number, the gas means less. But what is it? What is a GUI? Like, how do you? Or do I just need to worry about
that? So think about little packets that kind of equal information sharing or the cost of data. Okay. Right? So there's tiny little cost of data to post things in the Ethereum blockchain, because you have to send a transaction and all these other computers in the network, they have to validate it, right? So you create a chunk of data, right? So that through consensus, because remember, all of crypto is three things. You figure out a chunk of data, you broadcast that data, and then they validate that data. Make it, send it, validate it, right? Sending it and validating it, that's pretty much the same on every network. And there you're dealing with the latency and the slowness and the quagmaticness of the internet, right? You're not going to get past those things until internet gets better. But that first step, that consensus step. So you're basically taking your little piece of information or transfer of some chunk of data. That data could be currency, that data could be a JPEG, it could be whatever. And you're sending it to the network to then propagate it, right? You're saying, hey, you're giving it to them. This node grabs it and says, cool, we're going to line this up. We'll push it out here in a few seconds. In order to do that, though, you're going to have to pay me a little cash, bro. Throw some money in my pocket. Give the door guy some cash. So you give the door guy some cash. You then are part of a pool of transactions that will then get broadcast and then get validated. So yeah, so you're paying for the flight.
Yeah, makes sense. And I see people asking what this widget is. It's a Chrome extension. And the one that I'm using, at least, it's super simple. Ethereum gas price extension. completely free. And it just lets you know when gas prices are low. And it's good to get into things when things are low.
And you can't see it, but I've actually got one live on my screen that's a widget, and I can click it and it'll show me in real time. Like right now, I know it's 52.3 is the base fee. It's pretty cheap.
I think we have the same one.
That's cool.
Yep. Hey, Nick, why don't we get into the digital asset market review, kind of see what prices are looking like right now? Sound good to you?
I think we should. Markets are getting kind of beat up a little bit. There is no one thing, one reason, and be careful not to kind of fall into these, where people go, I'll tell you exactly why this or that is the reason why the market. No one knows, but the net effect seems to be just overall market sentiment and psychology, right? We have, what are the headwinds? Russia and Ukraine. Is that going to be a deal? Well, maybe not. We'll see. I think there's a lot more fear and uncertainty than is warranted, but that's always the case, right? People panic disproportionately. We got the Fed's hawkishness, and I think we're probably at peak hawkishness where everybody's like, oh my God, they're going to raise rate 1 million times, right? Well, that's never actually affected markets other than the idiots in the equity space that react to it and panic because the actual financial economy doesn't care about what the Fed says they're going to do with the rate that no one in the bond market really cares to trade. They trade around it. They set long-term interest rates, which is long-term interest rates are inflation and growth expectations. And that's where you see the people that actually study monetary inputs betting and gambling and wagering, not the Fed that by their own admission doesn't do money. So the Fed now is going to go, we got to raise rates real quick, and they have to raise as fast as possible so they can take credit for the CPI that's going to come down, which was going to come down anyway, regardless of what the Fed did. Okay, so cool.
Hey, but Nick, I got
some of that sentiment spills over. Yeah.
You actually have a few assets that you are specifically looking at that you think may be a good opportunity for people. I'm going to pop that on the screen right now. You can kind of take people through these 5, then we can get back to the price screen because these are ones that we're going to want to keep a better eye on.
So let's see. So NewNet, well, look, these are all assets that I think are quality assets. So as far as that goes, I think they should be in your portfolio. NewNet, now that's a play on dormant distributed computing resources being put together as a network that could power AI. Artificial intelligence. That's one of the companies that spawned from AGIX, which is the token that represents SingularityNet. Okay, so SingularityNet, that's probably our best in breed of AI plays. It's very, by the way, it's very cheap. And so if you see NewNet on here, then you also should assume, hey, listen, if I can get AGIX at a discount, which is the parent company, that would make sense too. NewNet is a vertical launched. So is, by the way, Singularity DAO. And there's about 6 more coming this year, including Bing Gortzel has a video out where he talks about a new layer that's going to kind of sit above Cardano that's going to help. And it's a Cardano side chain, which is going to be specifically for artificial intelligence making its way to general intelligence. Okay. So that's the whole NewNet, Singularity DAO, AGI play, and that's going to be very interesting this year. The next play, if we're going down that list, Harmony, that is a layer 2. Think of it like Matic. These are things that right now, most of the goal is just to ease the tensions in Ethereum because the fees suck and Ethereum is not the answer. It's slow and clunky, and by Vitalik Buterin's own admissions, it's probably not going to get much better. Even when Ethereum 2 comes along, let's just think about, which by the way, they're trying to rebrand that. But when Ethereum 2 comes and they meaningfully scale, well, they're going to fire all of the miners. The people that are mining, all the people that are running computers, because it's proof of work right now, they're going to all be booted because there will be no more Ethereum to mine, not in any real way. So they're all going to be out of work. How happy would you be if you spent millions, tens, hundreds of millions of dollars building this giant network of computers, buying these ASICs rigs to mine and validate Ethereum, and then they're saying, oh, we're going to fire all of you guys as soon as possible?
I would
might
feel
not be
bad.
super happy.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, you might not be super happy or super supportive. So that's a contentious relationship. So they have no desire to make it easier on us to spend Ethereum. So it is what it is. So I like these scaling solutions, ZK rollups and opportunistic rollups and things. Anything and sharding platforms, sharding with a D.
That's what I was just going to say. What are you talking about?
With a D, sharding, which
I popped in for a second, Nick, because of a question that came in the chat I wanted to bring up. So we're having these 5 that you like right here. Someone asked if they should sell their Ethereum. I'm assuming they meant to pick up some of these assets. What's your thought on that? Because that's a solid one as well.
I think Ethereum is necessary. It's a stalwart. It's as necessary as Near, Cosmos, or Algorand. Now, these are all layer 1s. I lump these together. These are protocols. Let me just say it a little bit easier. These are protocol layers, which are considered layer 1s. Okay, think of it as the highway or the infrastructure underneath the future of what they're building out, which will eventually be Web3 and whatever comes after that. So I would not sell Ethereum. However, I would have a balanced portfolio that has a relatively even distribution among Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Algorand, Near, Cosmos, and any other protocols you think should be in there. Maybe Avalanche. Maybe if you're clueless and don't read news, maybe Solana. But, you should have a fair amount of your portfolio, 25 to 50%, distributed among these layer 1s. And even if you don't get it right on all of them, if you get it wrong on all of them and only 1 or 2, cross the Rubicon, you're going to make so many currency units on those 1 or 2 that it won't matter. So you have to think, treat your portfolio as if you're a VC, right? Store of value, 25%. That's Bitcoin. Protocols, layer 1s, 25 to 50%. That's what we're talking about. The layer 1.5s, you could call them layer 2s-ish. That's going to be another kind of 5 to 10%. That is, right now, would be Matic. It would be Harmony One, which I think is going to have a great year. And so then you have your stable coins, which is 5 to 10%, not in Tether. Tether is not a real stable coin. It is a fake stable coin where everybody is awaiting their time in court in the Southern District of New York. Stay away from Tether. USDC is fine. There you go. Okay. Great. And I think you need Near, which is WebAssembly based. You need Algorand because they're the ones signing all the big enterprise deals, at least among banks in the United States. So they're going to do just fine. Although they have the worst marketing. They have no clue how to market, which is frustrating because I know one of the head guys at marketing. They paid him so much money to come help them. From what I've seen, do nothing. So, but it's a good team. The team at Algorand is legit. The technology is legit. So that's never been my argument. It's not exciting. It's not cool. It's just not very spicy and yummy.
So Nick, do you think the team at Algorand, so you say they do no promotion? I mean, I'm invested and staked in Algorand. I like the asset, but it's gone down since I went there, as many of the assets have. Do you think if they just hire a PR person to get the word out that there's potential for this thing to just like skyrocket?
Yes, but I think they won't, because the way I look at Algorand is because they're conceited and they're above it. They're like, PR, we don't do PR. I mean, we're a technology, we're a protocol. How dare we have to cater to the dumb populace, the ignorant buffoons that might, race after our token. So it's a little bit of kind of scientific kind of conceit that makes them. And look, this is the whole reason there's the flat Earth thing, right? No one actually thinks that the Earth is flat. It's just that it's a nice way to thumb your nose at science and say, screw you from thinking you're better than me in your tweed suit. And to be fair, the scientific community they're a little bit jerky sometimes in the way that they kind of stand above their peers. But on the other side of it, IQ doesn't skew, right? Like, anyway, I don't want to get into all that. That's not super fair to people. But the good thing about telling high IQ jokes is the dummies don't get them anyway. So it's not like you're really hurting anyone's feelings. So, okay.
Thanks, Nick.
So let me It's fine because Eric doesn't even know what I'm talking about right now. He's like, I don't know what happened. Nick started talking in some foreign language. I can't understand.
No, it's you just go on. You just love to talk, Nick. You talk and talk, and sometimes halfway through I lose you. But it's because I look at these messages coming through. Nothing personal.
Are you rant hating? Are you hating on my rants?
I guess I was rant-hating a little bit, but I do love you, Nick. So does the chat. So we're good.
Ranters are a group, and now I feel like you're trying to cancel my group.
I can't do that. I have to work with you every week.
You're rant shaming.
No,
you're rant shaming.
No, we were just fooling, just poking at you. Having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I'm gonna tell my other ranters that we got a rant shamer here.
Don't.
Okay. Okay. So that's kind of what's happening there. And again, buy quality assets. That way you can sleep at night. If you don't buy quality assets, you're going to always be second guessing. We had a question come up the other day. When should I sell? When should you sell? The second you think you should sell. You got to be able to sleep at night with your investments. No one can tell you when to sell. When that little voice goes in, it's like, hey man, I think we need to get rid of we need to do it. Sell it that second. Sell some of it. Sell down. Jimmy said, like an Algorand price target. I don't have price targets on any of this stuff. No one can give you realistic price targets. What you can do is get a rough estimate by looking at the available market cap of something like Ethereum. Okay. And again, market cap arguments are a little gooey too, because this is a new asset class that's absorbing new currency units. So there is no perfect math for this. Otherwise somebody would have all the money and no one else would have anything. Well, if you look at the Ethereum market cap, currently 356 billion. It's been over 500 for a while because remember, Ethereum was over 4,400 for a minute. So you say, okay, in an expanding market that's going to absorb more currency units. Remember, we're in a 2 trillion. Okay, so let's reduce this just to crypto. $2 trillion space. What is the addressable market? Eric, if you were to guess and say, how many currency units are out there that crypto could absorb? What would you say? We're at 2 trillion right now. What do you think the addressable space is? I hear a lot of goose eggs.
1 trillion. 1 trillion. 1 trillion.
Okay, Eric, we're at 2 trillion.
Right, but you said, does that mean that all of that we could take over, or more than 3 trillion? 3 trillion. Nick, the chat leaves me. 100 trillion. 100 trillion. Okay, final answer.
Good. At least we got a whole number integer. Well done, everyone.
Thanks, Hot Rod. I was totally stealing your answer. Appreciate it.
So this is where you have to do some back of the envelope, napkin, whatever the cool saying is, math. I think you could say there's an argument that about 3.5 quadrillion in total exposure. So that's real estate derivatives, equities, every bit of everything can probably be eased. Settlement can be made better. Rehypothecation and repledging can be made less. Truth in lending, all sorts of things that are kind of friction points, pain points in the financial system, in the entire financial system. And remember, you have the financial economy, which is not exactly correct to the real economy that we live in, where like you have to have a widget to sell and collect money for a widget, but about 3.5 quadrillion. Okay. We're at 2 trillion. So 2 trillion to 3.5 thousand trillion. So we have anywhere from a 2,000 to a 2,500x left. Now, does that mean you simply 25x or 2,500x these market caps? Well, no, that's not the way this works. There's going to be a lot of new assets created, but some of your more quality assets will absorb a certain percentage of that. And if you assume that people would, like, let's look at Bitcoin, that people would say, okay, I feel like 5% is a fair amount of my value to keep in Bitcoin. Well, then 5% of that 3.5 quadrillion or that 3,500,000 trillion could come into Bitcoin, right? But again, these are just ways to, in your mind, imagine what this kind of logarithmic progression could look like. What does that mean for Ethereum or any of the protocols? Well, so much stuff is going to be built on the back of these protocols that they're going to be getting utilized a bunch. And as they get utilized a bunch, transaction fees build up. Somebody has to support the network. we're still in the beginning, because proof of work, definitely not the answer. It's gummy and inefficient, but it's secure. Proof of stake, it's faster and also secure, but it's not the final version because there's give and take, right? Sometimes it makes sense to be slow and super secure. And when you're standing in line at Starbucks, it no longer makes sense to be slow and super secure. You need fast. And a $6 transaction may not have to jump through the security hoops that a $600 million transaction might need to jump through, right? So there is different levels of security and safety and liveness and necessity and concreteness. And these things are all kind of moving based on the scenario. So that hasn't all been, sorted out yet, which is why you're so early to crypto, because there's still so many kind of unanswered questions. So as this $2 trillion market absorbs or gets utilized to assist 3.5 or 4,000 trillion of total currency floating around in derivatives and other assets, then you say, okay, how much of that's going to be on the back of protocols? And I say probably 90%, probably 95%, which is why I stress to you, get into the protocol layers and have a good position in protocol layers, because whichever 2 or 3 or 5 of these layers starts to really absorb capital and potential capital, you're going to be stupid. You're going to be drowning in currency units, right? And then you'll have tax questions and all that. That's different. But so as it applies to Ethereum, you could say that, okay, could Near or could Cosmos or could Algorand, which Algorand has a $6 billion market cap, could Algorand meaningfully compete with Ethereum? Sure. And if it did, that would be at least a 57x, just looking at it right now. So could there be a $40 to $50 Algorand if it just competed with Ethereum? Yes. Could you get a 50x out of it? Well, yeah. And that's if the market and the world doesn't grow at all, not $1 from here going forward. If there's no new growth, if there's no new expansion, if there's no more babies born. So it's the goalpost is moving, but that's one way you can do it. And you can say, okay, I could see Cosmos, right, with a $7 billion market cap meaningfully competing with Polkadot with a 19. Okay, so could it do a 2.5x? Sure. Okay, so could you say, I like Cosmos at $70 if I like Polkadot at $20? Sure. And those are the kind of discussions you have to have with yourself, you and your brain and your portfolio. And no one can tell you where to go on that, which is why I say you want to reduce the thinking, have pretty relatively equal exposure to all of these protocol layers, and then you win just by playing. You can't win if you're on the sidelines, but if you're in the game, and you don't have to be in the game with tons of currency units, you just have to be in the game. If you're in the game, you can win. I got
a question just popped in my head. So I'm in Algorand, but I was just looking at my purchase points of Algorand. I was in the high, almost near $2 is where I put all of my money into Algorand. Clearly, it's gone down 50% since then. So for me, as a long-term holder, I have it staked. I'm not touching it. Would a play for me be to buy more this low to kind of balance out my entry point? Or does that not really matter, anticipating it goes up to $50 in the long run?
I think it does matter, but the way I would do it, so one, you're continuing to dollar cost average through staking, right? You're getting staking rewards. That is lowering your entry point. But what I would do is, some of these things tend to oversell off. Why? Well, again, there's no marketing behind Algorand. People think it's boring and yucky, which is why it's probably quite valuable. So I would say, where does it fit if you look at your other protocol layers? Let's say you have 10 protocol assets. I don't think there's 10 good ones, but let's say you have 10. And this one got cut in half. It now represents, of the total protocol layers, where it did represent 10%, it now represents 4 or 5%. Okay. I would probably put new money in that asset or take staking rewards from other assets, and I would continue to balance that portfolio. Think like a VC. Have a bunch of tickets, bet on every horse, and one of them will take you to the Triple Crown. Is that what it is? The Kentucky and the trifecta, the whole.
You'll win. You'll win.
Yes.
That's simply put.
You'll
That's
win.
how I'm a simple guy.
So
You'll win.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
You're a simple guy.
And that's something you've mentioned before, balancing your portfolio. It's a continuous thing as prices go up and down. I should have known the answer. I didn't, but now I do, and so does the chat. And
you can, by the way, for those of you looking to stake Algorand, you can stake it through a private wallet that they have. You can stake it. There's actually staking on Kraken, which is very nice. And even in Nexo, go look, because every day or two, Nexo lists new assets that you can stake. But sometimes they say, okay, they want you to buy it from them. You know what you do? If you have Algorand and you want to go stake, you would sell it into Ethereum and immediately swap it back.
Good strategy.
Dang.
I have an Algorand wallet. It's on my phone. It was easy to get into as well. Not as easy as it looks.
I was staking through the Algorand wallet, but I went ahead. I got to check, but I pushed Cosmos. I think I pushed Cosmos and Algorand over to Kraken because I think they were paying. But I know that Cosmos now, I think is coming to Nexo and maybe Algorand. I know they keep listing assets. They're so quickly.
Yeah.
And the fees for swapping assets on Nexo, it's dust. It's like free.
Those are two assets. Well, two assets that I need to start staking because I have heavy positions in them are Cosmos and Polkadot. But I have those troubles because I'm in New York. Huh?
Okay, so
not that we need to get into that now on the show for everybody, but just for me after the show.
Outside the bun. Think outside the bun.
I know I'm bad at that. Hey, you want to get into some questions from the chat, or do you still have some prices you want to look at really quick?
The only thing, again, I still think Nexo, and again, if you're looking to buy, so when you go through your list of assets that you like, what you consider quality assets, look, Bitcoin's down 18% from a year ago. So all those people that were like, woo woo, and you feel like you lost, you got left behind, you didn't get to participate in the run, you got a do-over. Okay, what's cheap? Well, Ethereum's not cheap. Cardano may be cheap. I think it's cheap. I mean, it's up, but I think it's still cheap. I think Polkadot is really cheap. It's down 40% on the year. That means a year ago you didn't miss anything, which is dope. And the staking is like over 12%, and some platforms higher, 16 to 18%, like on Nexo.
I need that.
I know. What else is cheap? Well, Algorand's pretty cheap. Look, it's a full red on the week, red on the day, the week, the month, the year. I think Algorand still probably my top choice right now. I scroll down and I look and I say, what looks like a relatively good deal right now. I mean, Harmony looks like a great deal. You haven't been left behind. It's below 20 cents. I think it makes a lot of sense. Audius, I think you look for an opportunity to exit. I just don't think it's exciting anymore. Singularity DAO, I think below $1 makes a lot of sense. It was as high as $6. It's outperforming Bitcoin. I'm not really sure why Singularity DAO is not performing better. I think it's a failure of them to kind of get again to communicate with the public what they're doing. But their Dynasets, which are these algorithmically managed assets, are outperforming Bitcoin and Ethereum. Well, then that's good. So I think as they make that case, and as the longer they go and continue to outperform, the better they'll do. AGIX at 12 cents looks great. This thing, I mean, I've made more. It's crazy. I've made more from Singularity DAO, from the free airdrop, and from NewNet so far, because I'm going to get these 4 NewNet kind of payments, than all the money I put into AGIX. Just from those 2 airdrops, because both of the airdrops, the tokens are, well, 1, they're free, but 2, they're 5x. Not NewNet, but Singularity DAO came out at 20 cents. So there's a point where your investment's paid back by the staking benefits and by the free tokens that you get airdropped from these other projects. And so if you just always look at kind of making the most out of your scenario, staking what you can stake, getting as much free money as possible out there, you can do a lot to alleviate some of the emotional stress of the crypto space, which there is a lot of.
That's good advice there, Nick. And I happen to take a lot of that advice. Let's move on over right now to some questions. I actually ended up picking one up from the chat right now from Eric in Northport. Question: I can't move fetch from Metamask to Cosmos Station, says invalid address. I know that the token bridge was down for the last few days. The fetch token bridge, I'm not sure if that's part of it. It must be. I mean, it's pretty easy to
Oh.
get a MetaMask address, right?
Listen, yeah, you can. Well, let's reframe the question. Is the question you can't get it from Coinbase to MetaMask?
I can't move fetch from MetaMask to Cosmos Station. So he's trying to stake it over on Cosmos.
You have to. So first, make sure you've set up a Cosmos Station fetch address. You need to do that in advance. It won't just do that for you. You have to set up the back first, right? So backwards engineer, backwards induction. Set up your Cosmos Station address for fetch. Then you're going to go from your MetaMask address to the newly generated Cosmos Station address. That's going to be on the token bridge, a from and a to, and then you should be fine. And if you're still having trouble, then it's just an issue of the bridge itself being a wee bit quagmotic,
which has been an issue the last few days, which could have been part of what you were dealing with. And this is why staking Looks tokens is a lot easier than staking Fetch tokens.
So
a lot more to go through. But hey, let's get into some other questions that we have that are pre-packaged here. How about this one? NFTs and Looks versus OpenC. Howard seems to always get a question highlighted. I don't know what Howard's doing.
Good.
I guess he's good. Yeah. But his question is, why don't you list your collection? Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I have hundreds and hundreds of NFTs. And any of them are available on any platform, because if you can discover them, you can simply make offers. That's it. Now, as Eric just discovered, if you accept an offer, you have to pay the fees versus selling. I have some of my NFTs listed on LooksRare. I have some of them listed on the X2, Y2. The other part of it is I'm not flipping NFTs. I'm not a degenerate gambler. I buy stuff because I like the artwork, and that is all. So like on my Beeple, I'll occasionally get offers on Nifty Gateway. Guy offered me just under 60K, like 57 or something weird like that. And I was like, nah, I've kind of grown attached to it. I don't want to flip it. So I'm not really trying to flip any of my non-fungible tokens. Now with NBA Top Shots, I'll occasionally sell a few to get more, but right now I'm just accumulating stuff where I either like the artwork or I think a couple years from now it's probably going to be worth a lot more. That's my NFT game. I'm not a flipper. I'm not really good at that. That's kind of more. Brandon seems to be having some success flipping NFTs. The problem is grinding your way onto a whitelist and getting a cheap NFT at the mint and then flipping it is a strategy that takes a lot of effort, and you can't scale it. Right? Like there's only so many hours in the day, and I'm not going to sit in Discord kissing a bunch of
butts,
people's tail feathers and trying to earn my way into some whitelist thing and I can flip man, I'm not doing all that. I'm just buying stuff that I like the artwork.
I'll also say, just getting on, I was under the impression you get on whitelists, they mint, they go up. And that was pretty much a sure bet. Lately, that has not been a sure bet, because I've gotten on multiple whitelists, some because of Brandon, some because of other friends, and they have all gone down. My NFT game is subpar, Nick, and I'm getting out of it. And I'm just buying Looks tokens and staking those. That's my new plan.
Here's rule number one in NFT world. Just only buy stuff that you like the artwork. Assume that it's not going to be worth anything the minute you mint it.
Lesson learned.
Right? If you buy cool artwork, then you're going to be less stressed when it's worth dust. I own tons of Paradise Trippies, and they're not worth crap. They're actually less than mint. They're lower than mint. So it is what it is. You buy stuff where you like the artwork. And if it happens to go up at some point, take advantage of it. Hang some orders out there. List it for sale if you want to. I just choose not to play that game. I buy stuff where I like the artwork. All right. Let's move on.
Yeah, next up, Nifty Gateway update. You haven't mentioned Nifty Gateway in a while. This is from member 1996301. Are you still positive on using them? Do you like it?
Yes, I love Nifty Gateway. As a matter of fact, I was banging around there earlier looking at what drops are coming. I could even show it to you if it would refresh. No, I love Nifty Gateway. I like, there's some just really cool artist drops and stuff like that I like. and I follow Paul Jackson, I follow Beeple, I follow, a lot of these. So I'll go to, the verified drops and I'll see, okay, cool. What's coming today? Well, Stupid Monkey season 1. Yeah, not so excited about that. As a matter of fact, I'm not so excited about any of these. I'll go to curated drops, and about every couple of days, I'll see if there's anything interesting. Let me just do a quick look. Nope, none of these are very exciting to me. I like Fuocious. I like Jonathan Thunder. Yeah, so there's a few of them that I like, and I'll go and kind of chase those down. Matt Gondek, really cool stuff. But again, it's about the artwork. I find artwork that I like, assuming that I'm not going to make money on it. And then, I do like Nifty Gateway. It's very quality. It's very class. It's one of the very few. I love Samote, by the way. But I like Nifty Gateway because a lot of the things that they do, it's quality art, and their platform is legit. I mean, it's the one thing I can say that those twins did right. They got Nifty Gateway correct. And I would say they're partially responsible for the success that the non-fungible token, the NFT market, has experienced. They're at least equally as successful as COVID was at putting everyone at home on a couch collecting a check that they didn't deserve.
Boy. Yeah, I guess that's a good way of putting it. So I guess you do still like the platform. With only 3 minutes left, we can get through 2 more questions. SDAO, layer 1.5 or 2. We talked about Singularity DAO a little bit earlier. Where does it stand for you?
It's neither.
Tom?
It's neither. It's not. So a layer 1.5 would be an assistance layer. It's not that. This is DeFi in crypto, but an AI managed kind of a decentralized finance. You basically, instead of buying Bitcoin or Ethereum or some of these assets, you would park your money there. They would manage a portfolio of Bitcoin or Ethereum or a basket of assets, AI and quant managed assets. So it's not a layer 1. It's not a layer 2. It's not assisting any other layer. It's a quasi DeFi play in the AI space, and I don't see any other ones. So it's kind of all along on its own little space. And the closest thing would be this is a DeFi play in the artificial intelligence space. And again, it's one of the verticals that was launched underneath Singularity Net. What else do we got?
We have one more from I Can't Afford to Be Poor. Hey, Nick, I picked up an NFL Pro Pack, dropped an NFT that you mentioned last week. I know. I also got a couple of NBA Top Shot packs. What's the best thing to do with these items?
Well, right now you should be buying the NFL ones just to hold them because the early stuff tends to be worth money. In like the early NBA Top Shot days, which was like a year and a half ago, way back when. Well, again, keep the moments you like. If there's moments you don't like, go and look at the market. Just go to the marketplace. If you have one that's number 368, go look at what a few numbers above and a few numbers below are worth and list it in around that price range if you want to sell it. I think NBA Top Shots, you can flip them, sell them. I think the NFL stuff, hold it. It's NFL Live. If you want to go look up Dapper, DAPPER, NFL NFTs, and you'll get like invites and stuff like that. So that's where I would kind of go. I would be holding the NFL stuff because it's so new. I would be kind of flipping the NBA Top Shots, but again, assuming you're going to get junk. Just assume that you're going to get crap, but if you get something good, flip it. Okay. On that note, yeah, I didn't get a pack yesterday. I was in line. I was like 52,000.
Nick, you did a great job today, Nick. Just want to say that. Nice work.
Oh, don't try to get back now after you rant shamed me.
I mean, we're friends, right?
I'm gonna go cry in a corner and put lipstick on and like go all over my face and do the whole crying game thing with a metal wire brush because
so you're not gonna
rant shame me.
So you're not gonna go tell anyone though. You're just gonna cry in the corner.
I mean. I don't know if I have the right to tell anybody now that I've been rant shamed. I don't know if anybody even cares.
Okay, then I take it back, and you could close out the show.
You can't take back a rant shame. You know what?
No, I take back my apology.
We will continue this tomorrow, Eric.
Yes, we will.
Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you for hanging out with us on Alternative Wealth Daily Live. Don't do anything my poor, insolvent, drunk, strung out on meth grandmother wouldn't do. And as you guys know, that is, well, there's nothing she won't do. Pew, 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 pew.